Ugh. It's a good day. It's a great day. It's a good Sunday. We're gonna be doing some videos. One of them is the fall off of Fortnite. It's a big conversation. It's a big topic. You know, Fortnite used to be one of those games that everyone used to play. It's probably your most played game, or was your most played game. So we're gonna react to that, and then we're gonna react to a Ryan Strahan video. It's like the 1-star reviews or whatever. But I love Ryan Strahan. I think he's great. I'd also like that to be colored, please. Okay. There we go. But yeah, so that's what we got planned today. Just waiting for some people to get in here. Other than that, let's get going.
First impression of the game. It's fun.
Well, let's go. Pleasant Park spawn. Let's get it.
This looks like a knockoff of Battlegrounds. Alex, it's so much fun though.
Where they at? Where they at? Where they at?
Where that face coming out?
Bro, this is sad. This is really sad, bro.
Oh, I feel the rhythm. Let's go! 27 solos. Woo!
34 solo squad. Not bad.
Bro, this is peak.
31.
This is peak Fortnite.
Your record.
I realised that I could probably go to a pro level.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are getting ready to start game number 1.
Here at the Fortnite Pro-Am, him and Marshmallow come out on top.
Let's go! Give me that boy! Oh, baby!
Dude,
This man about to
that game mode though, where you could be Thanos and like the superheroes, dude, that was the most fun thing ever.
get hip fired. It needs a nerf. That's for sure.
Eventually, this is not even a game anymore. Like, it's just, because there's no decision making. It's literally, you see someone, you just hold left click.
I have to do long division to figure out how many SMGs there are now in Fortnite.
The game is in such a bad spot right now. You have to be trolling, dude.
Still right here though.
What do they
It's still
think?
right here though. It was still a good game. Like, yeah, there was weapons, but there's always gonna be weapons that are better than other weapons. But right here was still pretty good. I loved Fortnite. Right here, yeah, Fatal Fields.
Increase the
good.
time between subsequent turbo build placements from 0.05 seconds to 0.15. What? Why would they do that? No way.
And you hear that Infinity Blade as well. Nice. He's still alive. Breaking through everything. Number 9, number 10 for Nice with the Infinity Blade.
Sing, 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 sing.
He only has to connect one time. Here it is. That is so frustrating.
There's planes.
Wait, for real?
2, 4, 6, 8, close to 10 vehicles in the air at the moment.
I hate planes so much, man.
What's up, Jax? How are you, buddy? Hi, man. Anyways, planes were, I know some people hated them. I personally loved planes. That was what, chapter 7? Something like that. That winter season. That was a lot of fun. I mean, Jax, if you don't know, we're, what's it called? We're reacting to the fall off of Fortnite for the first video.
So much, dude.
Season 10 was the worst season of Fortnite yet.
It's never been as bad as it's
And the mechs, man. The mechs were, okay, everyone could collectively agree those things were no fun.
been right now. The pro players are upset. The content creators are upset. What's going on, man? I feel like there's no communication right now.
When Fortnite Battle Royale was released back on the 26th of September 2017, the potential outcome for what had been created was completely unspecified.
Alright, here we go. I want Timmy dead!
A new free game in the Battle Royale genre? I mean, come on, there was already PUBG and this new Fortnite game was completely free for anyone to download. How good could it possibly be? Well, some of these aspects that were considered negatives in the beginning would go on to make the game one of the most successful games ever released into gaming.
Oh, I'm not even, no! 20
Y'all see that old storm that old Storm, the old metal, like that is so sick. That was peak Fortnite. Everyone loves Fortnite.
Baby, let's go!
However, things started to go wrong around late Season 4.
So irritated, man. I can't wait for freaking Call of Duty to come out, man.
Awful updates and mass complaints from the community began to roll in. Playground mode completely flattened the skill gap. SMGs began to overtake the beloved shotgun meta that made the game so fun in the first place.
What?
Infinity Blades, planes, mechs, and a bunch of brainless updates has caused the game to slowly lose popularity since its peak in July 2018.
Like, yeah, those made it less popular, probably, for sure. The thing about it was, Fortnite ruined itself in the last, like, year and a half, maybe 2. Like, even then, with the mechs and everything, it was still pretty fun. I mean, I remember playing it. Everyone was still playing it, so it was more, it's hard to drag something out that long.
But was it just the bad updates? Or was it the fact that people just lost interest in the game over time?
This same old shit is boring.
Buckle up, boys, as we cover the rise and fall of Fortnite Battle Royale. I want you to cast your mind back to mid-2017. Where were you? For some of you, it might feel like a long time ago in a place far from where you are now, and for some others listening, it might feel like just yesterday. Well, for a team of developers at the relatively unknown Epic Games, mid-2017 is what we might call the calm before the storm. Because on the 25th of July 2017, a project that had been in development for over 6 years was ready to be released to the general public. This special project was the now popular Fortnite.
Hurry up out there, Ramirez!
Oh, and then Save the World. I never got Save the World, and I didn't remember really how to get it, but yeah, it was like the first thing, and I know a lot of people love Save the World.
Epic Games explained in 2011 that they wanted to create a game that combined the construction game genre with the first-person shooter gaming genre to create something that might be a mix of maybe Minecraft and Call of Duty. Epic Games had recently completed the extremely popular game Gears of War, and to let themselves down from the hype, they participated in what was called a game jam, an event where game developers would try and create the best possible game within a limited period of time, say for example 1 to 3 days. It was in this game jam after the release of
What's
Gears
your
of
favorite game? Oh, my favorite game? Right now, probably 2K, but of all time, you know what's underrated? That Avatar game. It's like Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. It's like $90 when I got it, but I played it for like 48 hours, completed the whole game, and it's kind of just like a Spider-Man-esque type game where it's like an open world or whatever. One of the most fun games I've ever played. But I mean, there's a lot of games. Who's your favorite sibling? I like both of you. No, I would say, yeah, probably that one. But dude, I played a lot of Fortnite back in the day. I don't play Fortnite anymore. But yeah.
War that the idea of Fortnite was born.
Maddie, I'm sorry. I know this isn't your type of video, but this is like the downfall of Fortnite over the years.
And then the discussions around what happened at Game Jam is actually kind of what led to Fortnite. And Fortnite wasn't a direct result. It wasn't one of the games in the Game Jam, but that process was kind of the fuel that caused that to become created.
The game was then announced in December 2011 at the Spike Game Awards.
Showtime! Alright, clear!
You're good. Are you playing a video game or watching a video? I'm watching a video. Look, it's on YouTube. It's the downfall of Fortnite Battle Royale. And then after, we're going to watch a Ryan Trahan video, like 1-star rating.
2.5 years after the announcement in early 2014, signs began to appear here and there that the game was nearing completion. Game Informer uploaded the video inside the development history of Fortnite on the 25th of April 2014. In this video, the developers explained what they had been working on and how it was coming along.
It's a game that spawned directly from passion. This is just something that people wanted to build. We were just coming off of Gears, and we wanted to do something totally fresh.
There was also other videos being uploaded to YouTube, displaying the mechanics and giving an insight into how the game was looking back in 2014.
Appreciate this video. It's the downfall of Fortnite Battle Royale.
However, despite looking like Fortnite was ready to be released in 2014,
Which is
the game
sad,
wouldn't be
but
ready for another 3 years.
it fell
But
off
after
and you know
polishing the
it.
gameplay consistently over those 3 years, the game was ready to be released, which was announced at E3 in June 2017.
We're going to start with one called Fortnite. Now, I don't know much about a lot of these, so I think the best way to do it is just jump in.
Fortnite Save the World was then released on the 25th of July 2017, which was 1 month after the initial announcement. Fortnite Save the World was set up as a single-player versus environment game, a combination that Epic believed to be a resemblance of Minecraft and Left 4 Dead. The Save the World part of Fortnite was at 1 million players only 1 month after releasing in August 2017. However, there was a bit of a problem with Save the World. There needed to be more of a PvP aspect to the game. Sure, versing monsters all the time was kind of fun, but the game lacked a gripping competitive aspect. One game that did have an excellent third-person competitive aspect, however, was the game PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, released 1 year previously in July 2016. PlayerUnknown...
Yeah, so the problem with Save the World was it was like, it was fun or whatever, but there was just, again, there was no competitive aspect, so you were literally just shooting zombies, and that was about the entire game. So they looked at PUBG, right, and they were like, oh, let's
a
make...
recently new style of gameplay called Battle Royale,
make
a style
Battle
that was
Royale.
relatively unused by many other games at the time.
You died, didn't give it a go, and just keep going again, right, and again, and just, it's all about the PvP, so...
The concept was fairly simple. 100 players drop into an island, find weapons, and the last player alive is the winner. The gameplay style was extraordinarily competitive and fun, but wasn't used by many games besides PUBG, H1Z1 and some other smaller titles at the time. Epic Games noticed this and spotted a gap in the market, and this is where things just seemed to kind of align for Fortnite. They had a game where you could shoot like Call of Duty and build like Minecraft, as well as an opportunity to integrate their game into the Battle Royale.
Also, I don't think people understand the building aspect of Fortnite is insane. Like, the fact that they made that is crazy. Like, everyone... Like, it was so unique. Like, you couldn't not play it. Like, if you didn't play Fortnite, you were a nerd.
Genre. However,
insane.
Epic Games didn't only draw inspiration from the success of PUBG, they also drew inspiration from the success of another huge game at the time, League of Legends. League of Legends had taken a slightly different route to monetize their game, which Fortnite eventually adopted. Rather than just charging a fee up front to play the game forever, they actually gave the game out for free, with monetization coming from cosmetic in-game purchases. This also kept the player base strong, as there was no barrier to downloading the game if you were a new player, which obviously Epic Games liked. Epic Games then took all of these aspects, the free game, the building, the shooting, the Battle Royale, to create the now popular Fortnite Battle Royale, which was released to the public for free on the 26th of September 2017. Fortnite Battle Royale was an instant success. The fact that the game was free to play removed any hesitance for a potential player to at least try it out. Only 2 weeks after release, the game had hit 10 million players, 10 times what Save the World was able to achieve in its first month. The fact that everyone was on a similar skill level at the start meant everyone had an equal chance of winning, and the possibility that the next game could be your first...
Dude, that's the other part. PC players now, who've been playing the game for 10 years, you can't beat them. Like, they're just insane. So, like, people on controller, you can get good at controller, you really can. Takes way longer, and you'll probably never be as good as any PC players, just because building aspect is easier on PC once you get it down. And so the fact that they started out equal when the game first came out made it super fun, and then over the years it just went downhill.
This is awesome! This competitive aspect caused players to play over and over and over to try and get at least one win. And by the time you did win, it was over, you were hooked. The addictive nature of the game was incomparable to any other game available on the market. Many huge streamers then began catching on to how fun the game was, with people such as Ninja.
Oh, wait, what's up? Oh, hello!
Summit.
Chilling for now. Right below.
Nice.
And CDM the Third, switching their primary streaming focus to Fortnite.
Yes! Let's go! Let's go!
50 kills.
Then these streamers began to experiment with crazy ideas on stream, such as rocket riding, which were clipped and shared extensively on social media, bolstering the growth of Fortnite even further.
Oh! I saved one!
Players got bored of playing solos and began to invite their friends to play squads, multiplying the player count and causing extreme exponential growth. It was likely around this point that Epic Games realized that perhaps rather than using the Battle Royale genre to get people to buy Save the World, they should just double down on Battle Royale and make it the primary development focus. On the 25th of October 2017, exactly 1 month after the release of Battle Royale, Epic Games introduced Fortnite Season 1. Season 1 wasn't much different to the previous month. However, Epic Games introduced what was called the Item and Season Shop, where players could purchase cosmetic items and pickaxes for real money. The first example of
Sorry, the mic lags out sometimes. Anyways, I was gonna say the shop nowadays, like, nobody wants to buy anime like skins. Like, no one's gonna buy that. And back then the skins were kind of cool, and it was like, oh, I could be that. No one wants to be a furry anime character, you know.
Epic
So
Games monetizing the
that
Battle
ruined it
Royale
too.
aspect of the game. These skins would later become rare, which is insignificant now but will be important in later parts of the downfall.
Excuse me, sir. How
Yeah,
old were you
editor,
when you
we're
made
gonna
your
have to
first
edit all
million?
that out. What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the younger gen.
By the end of Season 1 in December 2017, only 3 months after the initial release of the game, Fortnite had reached 30 million registered users and had overtaken PUBG as the most streamed battle royale on Twitch, and it only had League of Legends standing in the way of the top spot. However, by Season 2 in January 2018, only 1 month later, Fortnite
See, that's
overtook
crazy.
League of Legends to become the most popular
Like,
game
it's
on
so
Twitch.
unique,
And by this
it couldn't
point,
be
people had really started to
stopped.
take advantage of
No
the
one
build
could
mechanic
compete.
as a proper strategy for staying alive, and realised that this mechanic distinguished it from any other battle royale. The building mechanic took the game from a mediocre third-person shooter in Season 1 to a game with a genius way of protecting yourself.
When you're in the fight and you're able to do something on the mouse or keyboard that could alter that fight, that could change that fight based on your ability or skill or knowledge, that's what you want, right? You want this mouse and keyboard to be your Lamborghini right here, man, a stick shift Lamborghini.
On top of this, the game just had pace like no other.
Number one, optimized. And that is why its popularity is just like
I should try
skyrocketing. Yeah, you'll love it.
It was just non-stop action and players literally could not get enough. After overtaking League of Legends on Twitch in January 2018, Fortnite then overtook PUBG in terms of active player count in February 2018, only 1 month later. And it's not like the Twitch record stopped there, because 1 month later in March 2018, an event would take place that would break the record for the most viewers in a single stream on Twitch. Ninja playing with Drake, 636,000 concurrent viewers.
That's crazy.
I got 5K donation if you get this dub right now.
Yeah? Playing Fortnite had officially become mainstream, just in case it wasn't already before.
That literal one match with Drake made it okay for everyone to play video games.
So much so that Fortnite hosted its first major public event only 3 months later in June 2018, the Fortnite Celebrity Pro-Am.
Kinstar on him. Ninja, can he clutch it out? Ninja! Kinstar gets the win. What a play. Wow.
Famous music artists, UFC fighters, sports stars, and Fortnite players all playing for $3 million in charity prize money. After the event had displayed the capabilities of what could be possible in the esports world, it didn't seem like anything could possibly go wrong for Fortnite. They had the gaming world in their hands. What could possibly bring such a behemoth of a game undone? Well, on the 27th of June 2018, only 2 weeks after the Celebrity Pro-Am event, Epic Games released a new game mode into Fortnite Battle Royale called Playground Mode.
Oh my god, look at that, mate. Playground, sandbox mode.
Playground Mode offered a sandbox style of
What a
gameplay,
guy.
giving every player the opportunity to practice their building with unlimited material and no limitations from other players. Now, while the community loved this newly implemented game mode, it began to do strange things to the skill level of the player base. Everyone started to get extremely skilled in a very short period of time. It seemed as though after Playground was
Well, yeah, that's
released,
the
the
thing.
skill
Once you
level that
add
was
that, they
achieved in
just
6 months
practice,
previously
practice,
could be
and
achieved in
practice and
only
get
2
better.
weeks by simply practicing in Playground mode. After Playground was released, all of the newbies just kind of disappeared and everyone's skill level increased dramatically. It was difficult for new players to get a grip on the game because the beginner skill level was diminished following the release of Playground. It's likely that Epic released...
Well, that's a crazy point too. Like, everyone was so good, so that when new people came in, they just didn't like it because they couldn't do anything.
the game mode attempting to give those new players a leg up with a practicing platform, but it just seemed to get abused by high-level players who just wanted to get even better. Now, it's hard to actually quantify whether or not players left the game following the update, especially considering it was an ongoing game mode. But I think we can all agree, if you can reach almost peak skill level in 2 weeks instead of 6 months, and everyone on the game is now extremely skilled putting up a barrier for new players, it's going to affect the health of the game in a negative way over the long term. So what was it that followed this? Epic Games began to notice the increased skill level of the general player. By the time Season 5 rolled around, just after the Playground mode update, everyone was extremely skilled at building all of a sudden.
It's crazy because most people think Fortnite died just from like recent, but like it started here, which I didn't even really realize, but that's insane to think about.
The skill level of the players in Season 4 compared to Season 5 was almost incomparable. Epic saw this as an issue because how is a potential new player going to win a game versus 100 other experienced players when they have no experience themselves?
What? He betrayed me, bro.
They had to change something to give newer players a shot, but instead of removing Playground, the game mode that made everyone extremely experienced in the first place, they started to mess with one of the main things that made the game so fun in the first place, the shotgun meta.
Oh, they put double pumps in. Or did they get rid of them? I think they got rid of them.
The most effective close-quarter weapon at the time was the range of shotguns, with submachine guns in the background as a secondary. Epic Games hatched a plan to increase the strength of the submachine gun range in the hope that newbies could just shoot through builds instead of learning how to build themselves. With the macro goal of competing with the shotgun meta at the time.
To be fair, even here, I know it was like starting to die or whatever. It was so fun still.
However,
I mean,
they
this
made
was
two
really
main
fun.
mistakes with the implementation. Firstly, they made the submachine guns way too strong.
Like, this thing
Yeah,
is
that's
actually
crazy.
dumb. It's actually dumb. The silence
The guy
SMG
using it
is
saying
literally
it's
the
dumb, like,
best
that's
weapon
when you
in
know.
the game right now.
And secondly, they made the main aspect of the game
That's when you
building
know.
completely redundant in the process, given that the new submachine guns could completely rip through enemy builds with 0 skill level.
I got you guys, don't worry.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Epic
Even
introduced
through
a new
metal like
submachine
that.
gun in the first update of Season 5 on the 17th of July 2018. However, Epic Games didn't really feel as though it did what they desired, so they added the P90 only 1 week later on the 25th
Oh,
of July,
no.
and this weapon was
Not the P90.
absolute carnage.
No.
Not broken, by the way.
The beginning of Season 5 also saw the removal of the controversial double shotgun strategy, another update designed to reduce the strength of the shotgun meta.
After firing a shotgun, another shot cannot be fired for a very short time. So you can't double pump.
Oh, they're getting rid of double
Out the
shotgun.
double pump,
Or just double
heavy.
shotgun. Double shotgun, period. You
No
can't
double
do it
shotty
anymore.
in general.
That's
They're
sad,
switching the meta to the double shotgun SMG. They're switching the meta.
It was at this point that everyone kind of started to realize what Epic was trying to do with the meta. It only took about 2 seconds of critical thinking to realize that they were trying to give new players the edge. But they made the new submachine gun so strong that people just stopped playing for a day or two until they fixed it. The almost laughable part about the update was that the people who the gun was put in for, the newbies, were complaining about the P90 in the same way that the pros were.
Well,
After
yeah.
the update, it seemed to become trendy
It's so
to start
good that
hating
if the
Epic
pros
and
use it.
complaining.
IBRB, Jarman? What's that mean?
About Fortnite. Over a 1 month period
Jackson.
between Season 4 and Season 5, everyone went from thinking it was the greatest game ever created to a game doomed and destined for failure. Looking back, perhaps a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then various videos started to come out with titles along the lines of, "Is Fortnite dying?"
Jackson, what's
We're
that
on the
mean?
cusp of something great, and I'm not really sure if it lasts the next season, you know?
If we look at the Google Trends graph for Fortnite, the weekend where P90s were released into the game was when it was at peak popularity, with a slow decline following. And as we can observe from the graph, the P90 update was really only the beginning of the decline.
Love Roblox?
Earn Roblox digital gift cards with
Oh, he
Microsoft
said
Rewards.
be right back. Maybe that's
Sign
what that
up
means.
for
I'm guessing.
Microsoft.
It's crazy how this video is like kind of like it's about earlier Fortnite than it is now, I guess. I mean, maybe we got
Fortnite
10 minutes
Season
left.
6. The previously discussed SMG problem that was seeing many players leave the game had been fixed to some extent with various nerfs.
Are they still worth like using and doubling up and all that? They're fine at very, very close range, but they're not like stupidly broken at far.
He's on the video a lot though, that one guy.
The popularity of Fortnite peaked upon the introduction of Season 6, however died down to the lowest point that Fortnite had been at by the end of the season. The introduction of zombies was just found to be a nuisance, with seemingly very few people advocating to keep the
what a
mechanic
guy.
in the game.
Dude, these zombies. Go away. You're making this so much more harder than it needs to be.
However, there was something else that occurred in this season which was another intangible phenomena that made many people lose a bit more respect for Epic Games. During Halloween 2018 in Season 6, Epic decided to re-release the Scythe Pickaxe and the Skull Trooper skin, two cosmetic items that were available only to the original Season 1 players.
Wait, the OG one's in the OG one's in the shop too. Oh my god, it's
That's
back.
the problem, bro.
They put the OG
It was
in.
OG, so it's not
And while
OG
everyone seemed kind of happy to have the opportunity to purchase these skins, there was also an underlying sadness that Epic had sold out a little bit on their original player base. It kind of made buying skins less exciting, since everyone knew that there was now a possibility that no skin could be rare in the future, because Epic Games kind of
Exactly.
showed that they would sell out on the rareness of a skin if it meant a slight uptick in short-term revenue. And since buying skins was less fun, this just translated into the game being a little less fun. However, the reintroduction of rare skins was nothing compared to what Epic would do to ruin the game in a following update.
It looks like he's kind of committed to the Infinity Blade here, and he's gonna be the first to pick it up. He has to build this time around because he knows the player there. He's going
Oh
straight
boy.
for the dive.
And you hear
Oh
that
boy.
Infinity Blade as well.
He's still alive, breaking through everything.
Number 9, number 10 for Nice with the Infinity Blade.
You're
He's just
back.
chopping through
Sick.
everything.
He has 400 freaking HP, people.
The
Yeah, I know,
Infinity
that show's
Blade,
so crazy.
speculatively agreed upon to be the worst and most game-changing update
The fact
ever
that you can have
released into
double the
Fortnite.
HP
Now,
as
if you're
someone,
still doubting the power
and then
of the
also
Infinity
just
Blade,
genuinely
look what happens when you dive
better.
into
Oh,
Tilted
Musil.
Towers. This thing will
Dude,
literally smash through
I'm
any
getting flashbacks.
structure in its way, meaning you can pretty much level that entire city in a matter of seconds. It is absolutely disgusting.
A weapon
Well,
that
not
completely
seconds,
threw all of the rules out the
minutes.
window, altering not only gameplay but professional tournaments as well.
If he gets the
the fact that they
victory,
let these in tournaments is crazy.
Player's gonna be right in
That's
front
one.
of him, and he
All three land here. Here comes the hop over. That's the elimination on Coop Train.
Then throw another controversial plane update in the mix and you have yourself a potential recipe for
Yeah,
disaster.
planes or something.
Hate
I like planes though.
so much, man. So much,
I like
dude.
planes.
Well, I
but
say
it's fine.
recipe for disaster, but the data
they're
might prove
fun to drive.
otherwise. It
I
seems
didn't
as
think
though
they were that
Fortnite
broken,
actually
but I
had
think they
very
also
little
nerfed
drop in
them,
Google
so.
search volume throughout Season 7, actually peaking in many places. However, I'd say that this was due to a mass number of people Googling the potential removal of the Infinity Blade and planes. When everything is going fine in the game, there's not really much reason to search for Fortnite on Google. These updates seem to provide mass traffic for the game throughout Season 7, however, it's questionable if this was healthy for the longevity of the game, given that in Season 8, search volume for Fortnite
I'm
dropped
leaving for
extremely
camp.
heavily after a small peak during the
I
introduction
say
of the
bye.
season. Then
Sure.
the same story with Season 9, a small peak in popularity at the beginning of the season followed by another drop to the lowest point in the game's history. The beginning of Season 10 then returned the popularity of the game back to where it was in Season 8. The season was marketed as Season X, which added a little bit of excitement for what was to come in the season. However,
This
as
one
you
was
might guess, the
decent. I
season
mean,
itself
I
came with
liked
its
it.
own set of challenges. It seems as though Epic didn't really get the message that players didn't enjoy ridiculously overpowered and unbalanced meta within Fortnite, because Season X began with a new update that some might argue was the most
Oh.
unbalanced update to come
I
into
forgot
the
about
game
that.
since the Infinity Blade.
That rocket charge was insane. Like,
Mechs appeared to be another
you
one of those
couldn't
updates
survive.
that purely just
Even if you
outrage
built,
from the
you couldn't.
community and
In
flattened the
metal,
skill
you
gap,
couldn't
giving
have.
the lower skilled players a chance to win.
What's up, boys?
But to be fair, if you were in the mech, it
However,
was pretty
all
fun.
mechs seemed to do was create a bigger gap
It's
between
one of
the
those
haves
things.
and the have-nots. If you had a mech, you were unstoppable. If not, you would have a hard time beating someone who did have a mech. Following this, many people started saying that Season X was the worst season yet.
Season 10 was the worst season of Fortnite yet.
This was then backed up by the fact that 2 weeks after the beginning of the season, Fortnite once again hit a new low on Google Trends. But Epic Games wasn't stupid. They could see that the game was dying. There was only so many seasons they could produce before people realized, holy crap, I've been playing this game for 11 seasons, maybe it's time to find something new. They could see that every season more players were leaving, so they needed to refresh and revitalize the game. On the 13th of October 2019, at the end of Season X, an event took place where the Fortnite map was sucked into a black hole, an extraordinary way to end what was considered a bit of an awful season.
That's sick, though. I mean, that's cool. Oh, yes. Hello. What? Hi to who? Yeah, you can say hi to the camera.
Hey guys.
That's Maddie.
Okay, I'm leaving for camp.
Okay, bye. You have a good time at camp.
I'll try.
Later.
But when the next season was supposed to start, nothing happened. Just this screen for 2 days straight. No one could play Fortnite, which caused the Fortnite search volume to skyrocket
shut
to a level
your
never seen
little
before.
goon Mary
Because I
up,
guess
bro.
if
You're
you're not
weird.
playing Fortnite, you're probably Googling Fortnite,
That's
right?
my sister,
then,
just to
after
be
2 days
clear.
of silence, which was likely a publicity stunt to get everyone hyped and talking
Just to
about
be
the game
clear.
again, Fortnite Chapter 2 was released.
Oh yeah, chapter 2. That was probably the start of it.
A full new
That wasn't
map?
the start of Downfall
Imagine
because
being
there
able to
was
build anything
the
just by
agency
thinking about
season.
it.
Dude, that was so fun.
Base 44,
Agency season
a complete
was sick.
AI creation
like, some of those
platform.
seasons were really
New
fun.
guns, vaulted guns, swimming, fishing. Could this be the return of Fortnite to its former glory? Well, as seen on the trend graph, not really. 2 weeks after the release of the season, the popularity was back down to where it was in Season 10, with many people saying that Chapter 2 update was a bit of a letdown, mainly focusing the complaints around the fact that the season was 4 months long with very few updates and new pieces of content.
Chapter 2 alone will almost be 2 seasons long, and all we have to show for it are a couple of new weapons. That's why I gotta ask, what have the developers been doing for this long?
By the end of Chapter 2, Season 1, the game had
Star
hit
Wars
yet another
was,
low,
I mean,
a low that
the
hadn't
guns
been
kinda
lower than
sucked,
any
but
other season. However, after the release of Chapter 2 Season 2, something
Yes.
bizarre happened. The popularity of Fortnite began to rise again.
Yes,
Instead of following the
'cause
trend
the
of the
agency was
previous
sick,
year,
dude.
being a spike
Like
then a
that,
drop in
like,
popularity,
spy
it was a spike,
thing was
then a drop, then a
so
gradual
cool.
rise to a new high that hadn't been seen in about a year. What could Epic possibly be doing that they weren't doing previously? Well, it's hard to say, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it might be related to the quantity of people at home currently rather than school or work. And since there's minimal data to discover the accuracy of this statement, it's hard to draw an accurate conclusion. However, since hitting another peak upon the release of Chapter 2 Season 3, the game seems to be on another downward trend, a trend that may certainly continue into the future.
dude, it's been low recently. I know
So it
that. It's
creates the
gone
closing
under like a
argument for the
million or
video.
something.
What caused the gradual decline of Fortnite over time?
There's just so
well,
many bots
from everything
now.
presented and by analysing the opinion of the public,
So,
it seems to be a mix of questionable updates and just a loss of interest over time. Sure, it's easy to blame the bad updates, but at the end of the day, there's only so long that someone can play a game before it begins to become recurring and monotonous. It's coming up on 3 years since the game was released, and to think that the people interested back in 2017 are the same people interested now is possibly a naive judgment. Not that you really care about my opinion, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. And it might be controversial, but I think one of the main perpetrators was Playground in creative mode. I think that it would have made the game significantly more enjoyable to just trust the natural progression of people learning
I
each
agree,
aspect within the game while
100%.
versing others in real time.
You just
The
go
reason those
sweat
first
on
6 to 12
creative.
months were so fun was
Now
because
there's,
everyone
like,
kind of
edit,
sucked. And it felt
like,
as though
things
everyone
that
was
you
bad and getting
that
better
were
on an
better.
equal level.
There's, like,
Suddenly when
edits you
Playground
can
was introduced in
do
Season
and
5
different
hit, there
edit
just wasn't as
courses
much
and
reason to
creative
play
now.
public
It's
matches
crazy.
because you could learn everything by playing privately. And then when you did go to public games, everyone suddenly knew what they were doing. The natural progression felt off and made the game instantly less enjoyable. Regardless, the game has provided people with so much entertainment and good times up until this point, so despite having a decline in popularity, it still appears to be an excellent game to jump into. And it's free to play, so as we said at the start, why not give it a shot?